Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Ask Sharifah. And today we have a special guest. And when I read her bio, I was like, oh, this is a woman after my own heart. It said mom. One of the proudest things that she has or she is simply being a mom. And, I started my business in 1994 because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So aside from that wonderful title, we have Miss Dawn Witte, who is the founder and director of the Desire to Inspire Foundation. Good afternoon, Dawn. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Sharifah. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. So, again, we're going to get into all the wonderful things that you do, but tell us about being a mom.
Oh gosh, being a mom. I loved all of the ages of my daughters. I remember when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, I remember watching Phil Donahue, and Olivia Newton-John was on, and she was talking about how much she loved dogs. But then when she had her daughter, that her dogs became dogs. And I remember thinking, oh no, that will never happen. And then I had my daughter and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I loved these dogs so much. And this love I have for this creature is just unbelievable. So, I just wanted to be part of all of their growing up. I didn't want to miss, the first words, their first anything. And, they're 28 and 27 now. And we have really great relationship. And I think I did a good job with those two. I'm very proud of them.
Well, from everything you're doing for yourself, I'm pretty sure you did a great job with them, but I can definitely relate. I'm not really a dog person. I tell people I don't like pets or plants, and my children are alive because they can speak. They're like, Mom, you got to feed us. Mom, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Like, you guys haven't eaten in 8 hours, plants and pets. I wouldn't even trust myself with plants or pets. It'd be days before they get watered or get fed. So I love it. But that was the same thing for me when I first had my daughter, my first child. It's like I didn't want to miss anything. Those first steps when they say mom, I didn't want them to be in a daycare, taking these little first steps. And, back in the 90s, there were no, FaceTime or anything where somebody can be like, oh, look, she's walking or anything like that. So it's always one of my proudest accomplishments to just simply be a mom. And like you, my daughter is 25 now and my son is 22. So, I've gone through all the stages and I really like them as babies sometimes a little bit more because as adults, they try to negotiate. I'm like, what is this negotiation? I'm a mom. That's it. There is no other way. So enough of that. We want to talk about you. Moms always talk about the kids, but let's talk about you. What made you decide to create your own foundation?
I think it's because I love being a mom so much that when I went to Africa and I see these children without moms, all I want to do is mother them and give them the things that, the little bit of encouragement, the letting them know how special they are, that, that they're here for a reason and that they have great gifts to share with the world. And so I wanted you see so much negative stuff on the news, and if you were to go by that, you would really think the world is a terrible, 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 awful place. And, in my experience, yes, there's bad things in the world, but I think there's a lot more really great things and really wonderful people than the news would lead us to believe. So I wanted to share that with people. I wanted them to see like how much, $1 can go in changing somebody's life and how good that feels when you're able to say, look what I did for this person. That's what I'm all about. And so that's why I started the foundation, because I wanted to continue doing this work in the world. And I feel so very lucky that I get to do it.
Yes. Isn't it the most wonderful feeling in the world to be able to live your dream or live the life that you enjoy? So what initially made you decide to go to Africa?
It was always something that I had on the list of things I wanted to do. I don't like to call it a bucket list, but just, things I want to do. And I went to an event and I met this beautiful woman from Ghana. I started talking to her and she was telling me she's a queen of her village. She's going to be coronated queen of her village in Ghana. And I said, oh, I've always wanted to go to Africa. And she said, why don't you come? And I said, you know what? I just might. And so, at the end of the day, I didn't end up meeting her in Ghana because her aunt had passed away and some things had happened. Our schedules didn't match up. But I said, you know what? She gave me the end of March. So what I said is I'm going to go look for an opportunity to go volunteer, and I'm just going to see what happens. And from when I said yes to that, even though I didn't really know what I was doing, all kinds of resources and connections have come into my path to help me do this work.
I love the desire to inspire. I love that. But what is the focus of your foundation?
What we want to do is make people beyond sustainable. And I think we've all heard about sustainability. Oh, I'm sorry. My internet connection is unstable. What we want them to do is be able to take care of themselves. And because a job that you've done yourself, something you can be proud of, you can't give somebody that. That is something that you have to do using your gifts that you were brought here to put it forth in the world. We want that. And then we ask, go out and help somebody else, spread the kindness so that your life has been lifted, you lift somebody else's. And that's how we transform the world.
Mm-hmm. But that is admirable. Admirable is the word that comes to mind. It's very admirable for you to even want to change the world. And I was reading something the other day, and it says so many people want to change the world. And it's not that the world needs to be changed or the world needs to be fixed. It's just that we just need to give more love, and that's what I always try to do, is just inspire people to just be more of themselves. I don't have to go fix you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say something's wrong with Dawn, so let me change her, or try to fix her. But all I can do is just love and give more love to the world. Where is your foundation located?
I'm located in Los Angeles, California. I was just going to say I have an office in my home because, as I do love dogs, so I like to have them with me.
Whatever your reason, I just, I've been doing radio. I started my first radio show in 2009, and now that I'm in my 40s, I tell people it would be hard pressed for me to leave my home. I'm a recluse who hardly goes anywhere. I do my interviews from home. I do all my work from home. And people are like, let's meet. I'm like, let's meet via Zoom. You know what I mean? I just love it. So I can definitely imagine. And everything is so beautiful. I was just looking at your bee calendar and Buddha behind you. I just love, that feeling of being at home. So one of the things, I just love everything about your resume or your bio. Let me just say that. But one of the things that stood out to me is you have a new ebook. Can you tell us a little bit about your ebook?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to. We just launched the ebook version last Thursday. And it was a book that I wrote actually for my daughters. It was things that I wanted them to kind of consider. Every once in a while you hear a quote that you think, oh, I never really thought about things like that before. And it gives you pause. I wanted to impart some wisdom that I have learned about kindness and how important it is to be strong and to be authentic, to be genuine. So it started by, just writing things for them. And then I realized, I have to write, if it's good enough, advice for my daughters, maybe this is good for, other people in the world, just to give them, a different way to look at things.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your top advice that you display in the book?
Well, it's 7 words. And, my word about being strong and being genuine, being kind, being inspired, being love, being happy, and, being, what, did I miss one of those words? I always miss one of them. But all of those words, like the importance of those things, when we have a perceived failure in our life or something doesn't work out, getting back up and trying it again, those kind of things. Sometimes you could feel, maybe this isn't just meant for me, or maybe I'm just no good at this. But if something's really important to you, how important it is to keep going. Things like that. And the power of love. I mean, I really think the power of love and kindness those can't be underestimated.
Okay, so give our viewers the name of your book and where they can find it.
It's on Amazon. It's called B-E ... Right now, if you look up B and then my name, Dawn Witte, it will come up.
Mhm.
Over the weekend, we were fortunate enough to hit the #1 spot in family and personal growth.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's very exciting.
Congratulations. That's not an easy thing to do.
I have a lot of supportive friends that are very encouraging, and they understand the work that I'm doing in the world, and so they want to support me however they can. And it's been well received. The people that have referred it to their friends, recommended it to their friends, I've had some really great feedback, so it's been exciting.
So I have to ask, what was the feedback from your daughters?
That was the very best part. If I didn't sell one copy, I have to say, they wrote the intro to my book, kind
Okay.
of to introduce me, like, who is this lady writing these words? And when they wrote their intros and I read them, if I pick up the book now and read it, I will cry. I cry every single time because, as a mom, I'm sure you understand, you get and you get the mom and you don't know what you're talking about, and to read the words, like how they actually see me in the world, that was priceless.
I can imagine, and it's just so funny. I guess this mom theme is just going on today. But I posted on my Facebook yesterday that it said one of the best things you do may not be something you do, but someone you raise. And I was like, oh my God, that is so beautiful, because my son's going to college, my daughter is more entrepreneurial, and it's just like I take so much pride in them. So anytime, I've done a lot, I've accomplished a lot, I'm an author, consultant, but when anyone asks me what is like your proudest accomplishment, I always simply say being a mom, because everything I've done, again, building businesses, startup companies, it all started with my children saying, Mom, we're hungry. And I'm like, you know what? I got to feed these kids. I got to figure this out. I got to make things happen because they got to eat.
Well, and I those children that I work with in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
I call them my kids in my heart. I
Mm-hmm.
believe those are my children. I've been able to visit them multiple times over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching them grow up.
Mm-hmm.
So my love of mothering my own biological children, I'm now extending to even more children.
What are some of the things that you would like to do with the children, say in Africa? Is your foundation focused more on books, on education, job skills? Like, what is your primary focus specifically with the children in Africa or either other parts of the world?
Well, what we're focusing a lot on right now is education. What we want to do is help educate villages. Education is hard to come by there.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to create opportunities where, again, people can be beyond sustainable and take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. We don't have to constantly be giving anybody a handout, because these women and men that I've met are the hardest workers. They're strong. They will do a job and take pride in their job. Mm-hmm. And they just need the opportunities and the training to do these things. So we have been fortunate enough to been gifted 2 parcels of land, one in Ghana, one in Uganda. And we're going to build community centers, but community vocational centers where we're teaching people skills that they can earn a living for their family while the children are being educated and playing and, safe. So that's what we're focused on, but we're drilling a borehole in Ghana. We moved the children in my all-girls school in Sierra Leone. There are about 30 girls there. We moved them into a house. They were sleeping on a concrete floor, 30 girls in a very small area, no electricity, no water. They're now living in a house. They all have beds. It is just,
it sounds amazing. I mean, because it's like the things that we take for granted, we call it, first world problems. When we talk about our problems, it's like, the Wi-Fi went down today or went out, it's like, okay, your biggest concern is, the Wi-Fi went down for what? 2 minutes, 20 seconds, but when you have all these other places and they're sleeping 30 people in a room, and the best feeling in the world is to have a bed, to sleep in. It's like there's so much that we've taken for granted. Now, you mentioned that you've been given this parcels of land. Is there anything that people can do to help your foundation? I saw the dog when he walked by. I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to interrupt.
so sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. He's joining the show. Look, he's coming back. I see him.
He's my very ferocious guard dog.
He's going to protect you. Protect Mama. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I get distracted.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was very distracting. Yes, donations. You know, you can buy my book. That's one thing. I'm donating as much. All the profits right now, up until I get to the point where I raise the money to do this, are going into my foundation. So buying the book on Amazon, if people want to make a direct donation, my website is desiredtoinspirefoundation.org. We're updating it currently, but there are things there. I want to let everybody see these beautiful pictures of these beautiful children and, you know, see what kind of impact we're making. And it really is, I honestly, there's nothing I could do on this earth that would give me more joy and pride than this work.
Are your daughters a part of the foundation?
Yes, they do help me when I ask them for help. They both have different gifts, skill sets. We're actually currently working on bringing in a skincare line from Uganda.
Oh, wow.
So that can be beyond sustainable. You know, instead of asking people for donations all the time, let us do industry, bring it in, sell a product that we can earn money to help these projects. So they're helping me with the back end stuff, the logistics, you know, things like that. But yeah, into my mind, they don't know this yet. So I won't show them this video. But
I like, surprise, you got a new job, something for you to do. But I mean, it just seems like everything you do, they just have to be proud of you. I mean, just proud of their mother and everything that you accomplished. And I love hearing about the skincare line, because sometimes, you know, when people receive donations, even though they appreciate it, even though they actually need it, it does something for them to just feel like they're doing something for themselves and they have a product that they can offer to the world. It's nothing like being, you know, in charge of your own destiny, as opposed to just, you know, Dawn, can you help me? Dawn, can you give to me? Dawn, can you, you know, help me? So I love that. How did you come up with the idea for the product, the skincare line?
Divine intervention, I tell you.
Good answer. I love that.
Now, on our last trip, I met this beautiful woman from Uganda. Her story, you know, it's being able to meet different people from different places in the world and listening to their stories. I am so inspired on a daily basis. But she started this skincare line with these, the East African shea nut, and I could go on and on and on, so I won't bore you with all the details that I've learned about this nut, but it's really moisturizing and it's all natural. And right now, when we're looking at, you know, trying to get the preservatives and the chemicals out of our skincare, you know, it's such a wonderful thing to be able to bring to this country. So I had the good fortune of meeting her in Uganda. She's come and stayed in my home. And so we're working on trying to bring that product here. And I fully believe in it. I send all of my friends home with it. You know, try this, use this. It's amazing. So that's one of the things we're working on. But again, I do believe it's divine intervention.
Are you going to sell the product direct, or are you looking to have it in larger chain stores?
Right now, we're trying to figure out the logistics of how we want to do that the best way possible. So, you know, that's all still kind of in the back end, trying to figure it out. But, you know, every day there's something that happens. It's moving us forward. So by the end of this year, I hope that we'll have something launched.
No, it's wonderful. Are people able to order the bee calendars? Is that part of your line, the bee calendar behind you?
Actually, that's a collage of pictures my daughters gave me for Christmas a couple years ago with pictures of me and the children in Africa.
Oh, wow. I wish I could see it. No, I thought it was a calendar, but I just saw this bee. And from your book, Bee, you know, that running theme. So I think it's just beautiful. I love the colors. I love the white, the blue. It just stands out, and it's just so beautiful, you know. And sometimes we push ourselves and we feel like we have to do all these things and be all these things for other people, and sometimes you just simply just need to be, you know, whoever you are. So I just love it. I applaud it. So again, please give our listeners your website address.
It is desiredtoinspirefoundation.org. And we're on Facebook and Instagram also under Desire to Inspire Foundation.
Okay, so I know on desire to inspire foundation.org or Instagram and Facebook desire to inspire, you must have some really inspiring words. So whenever I come down to the last few minutes of the show, I always like to allow my guests the opportunity to just inspire us. What would you really want for us to take away from this interview?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. And with this book launch and I'm starting to work on my second book. And so there's so many ideas that I'm jotting down. I think to be in line with the B theme is just, what are we putting out into the world? Mm-hmm. And, I think a lot of times we're really, really hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. We think we have to do everything. We have to do it perfectly. And, we have to do it by these standards. And I think that sometimes we have to learn to live outside of the box and live a life of our dreams, because that's when we're going to be the happiest. That's when we're going to bring the most to others in the world. Mm-hmm. So living outside of the should box is what I like to call it. Like sometimes things don't always go the way you think they're going to go or you want them to go. And you have to have the faith that they're going the right way, regardless of how it may look at the moment.
No, just looking at you, and I just want to say this, Dawn, I love your energy. You seem like you would be a really great person to hang out with, to work with, even just brainstorm, on new ideas. You have this really creative energy. And when you speak, everything's like it just feels wonderful. But let me just ask you, because sometimes our viewers want to know, was it always that simple for you? Was it always that easy for you?
Even today, I still struggle, with some of the inner voices that say, who do you think you are? And what, but I think all of my life, I've never known how to follow directions. So I think, I've always lived outside of the should box. And I think some people get a little annoyed by that. But, I just think I do things my own way. And it's just because that's the way I know how to do it, not because my way is the right way. It's just for me, the right way, and I think over the last couple of years, like learning the self-confidence in, just for example, sitting at an event in Ghana. And I was sitting on one side, the adults that were organizing were all sitting here, and the kids that they had brought from an orphanage were sitting across from us, all separate. And I was sitting there going, I really want to sit there and be with those kids, but nobody was doing it. But I was the guest. And so I sat for a few minutes and I thought, I don't care. I'm going to go sit with the kids. And as soon as I did it, first of all the kids loved it, but then the other people started coming too. So, sometimes you just got to take that leap and be like, you know what? This is okay. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it just takes one person.
Yes, but isn't that such an empowering feeling? I think once I hit my 40s, I became more, and I tell people now, I'm just okay with me. I'm just okay with whatever I decide to do. I used to be like, oh my God, I got to have my hair perfect. It has to be down, it has to be people. Like now it's like, all the makeup, everything has to be perfect. What shirt am I going to wear? Okay, Dawn may not like this shirt. Those like, a long time ago, I always had, like you said, these inner voices that were like, well, maybe you're not supposed to do that. Maybe you're not supposed to wear that. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Or like you said, nobody else is doing that. And now I'm just so free to just be and to be me. And I'm just so happy. So to see someone else who has that same kind of energy, again, I definitely applaud you. I think it's really amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's definitely been a personal growth journey of mine too. And I still have to remind myself the same things, but those voices get drowned out by, I have a mentor named Laura Swan. She is an amazing woman in San Diego, and she taught me to trust my voice. And I remember when she said that to me, I thought, that was one of those aha moments, like, oh my gosh, trust my voice. But those words echo in my head now. And, I could never repay her for that gift.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have a friend like that, a friend I've known really since the third grade, and I loved him to death. He passed away from cancer in 2007, but he did real estate, and he had lots of land for the Indian land, and people were coming to him trying to buy this land from him. And so one day he was like, I'm going to a meeting. And I'm like, okay, you have on sweats and a t-shirt and you're going to meet these people? And he looked at me and he said, they came to see me. And I was like, Oh my God. It's like sometimes these little tidbits or these little nuggets of confidence just kind of change your life, and now being the CEO of my own television network, the CEO of my own PR firm, it's like I dress up. I definitely, believe me, Dawn, I definitely do not go to meetings in sweats and a t-shirt, but I don't, try to overcompensate and wear that three-piece suit or whatever it is, and, just go overboard to try to impress people, because it's like, they come to see me. And I'm just okay. I'm okay in my own skin. And I believe that's a beautiful feeling.
Yes, it definitely is. And I do like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is one of my favorite shirts. You can't really see it, but it has like the whole little crescent thing and everything. I'm really into astrology. I'm an Aries, so I just love all this woo-woo stuff sometimes. And this morning I was kind of feeling woo-woo. I was like, let me have the desire to inspire while I speak with Dawn. You are so wonderful. You are definitely a blessing. I would love for you to please give our viewers your website address again, your Facebook, your Instagram, because something tells me they're going to look you up.
Oh, thank you so much. It is desiretoinspirefoundation.org. We're on Facebook at Desire to Inspire Foundation and Instagram at Desire to Inspire Foundation.
It's wonderful. So thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You are so welcome. I enjoyed it. For anyone who enjoyed the show even half as much as I did, I ask you and invite you to share this episode. Share this episode as what I'm going to call an act of kindness. Today, this is the act of kindness, because everyone needs to hear this message that they just simply have to be and to give love, and that's all they need to do. So to watch this video or to be interviewed or to watch all the video interviews that I have, visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until next time, I'm Sharifah Hardie.